What's the best Elijah Craig barrel proof batch of 2023? Let's find out. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Hutch, and thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the world of whiskey. So, when it comes to my whiskey journey, I have just been waiting for a video like this for a long time, and I'm really excited because this year I was able to collect all 3 batches of Elijah Craig barrel proof. And in fact, it's been quite the interesting year in the history of Elijah Craig barrel proof. Why is that? Well, it's because after they released the A batch, which was pretty well regarded by pretty much everybody, Elijah Craig announced that they were getting rid of the 12-year age statement for their barrel proof option. So Heaven Hill comes out with this announcement saying the 12-year age statement's going away. People go a little crazy. B batch comes out and it is 11 years and 5 months old. So definitely younger than people were expecting because of the lack of age statement, at 12 years old, but still a very good batch if you ask me. Then C batch comes out and it makes waves because it's 13 years and 7 months old, 133 proof, and kind of a monster batch throughout the year. So we're looking at kind of a varied scope here. Batch B is 124.2 proof, and batch A was 125.6 proof. If you ask me, getting rid of the 12-year age statement allows them to do a little bit more varying of their batches, and I think it's kind of come through in this year's releases, which makes it even more exciting to dive into this blind. So without further ado, let me put aside these bottles and we'll just dive into tasting the whiskey and seeing how good it is and deciding which batch is the best of 2023. All right, everybody, I have mixed up the glasses now. Not sure at all what the order is here. We've moved the bottles off to the side and it's time to start tasting and nosing these things. Just before we do that, I do want to say, if you're enjoying all the content coming out of the channel, would love to have you aboard as a subscriber for the rest of 2023 and beyond. Goals to get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So would love to have you help us reach that. While you're at it, hit that like button. And then before we dive in, let me know, what do you think in the comments? What do you think are the order? What's it going to be here? What am I going to like the most? And then if you've been able to do a blind or taste all 3 batches, what was your order? All right, let's dive into glass A on the nose and see how it comes across. Nice. Very oaky. Some dark cherry, but a strong oak presence. Very chewy kind of essence to it. Vanilla, lots of vanilla. Dark vanilla too. And then some caramel and brown sugar as well. But this one has a good presence of oak and a chewy, leathery, aged presence to it. Interesting, great start. Let's go to glass B on the nose. Okay, a little different. A little bit more punch and pungency. Some vanilla here too, and brown sugar, but maybe more honey and some oak. Yeah, lighter, brighter vanilla coming through on this one for me. A little more peanut as well, very punchy, a little more cinnamon. So just a lighter, brighter, punchier nose than glass A gave me. Then let's go into glass C on the nose. Oh yeah, a little bit more similar to glass A. Kind of a oaky presence, some vanilla as well. Some brown sugar, nice brown sugar on this one. Cherry, maybe a slightly lighter cherry than A. A maybe had this like dark black cherry, and this has more of just a nice rich red cherry. But this also has that oaky, aged, good presence to it. All right, 3 really good noses, to be honest with you. None of these are now out of the running because of their nose, and none of them are standing out particularly above each other. They're just slightly different in good ways. But the palate, of course, is where we'll get the most important information. So let's dive in now. Let's go to glass A on the palate. Cheers. Whoa. That's a flavor bomb. Really powerful. So much of that black cherry and oak. Vanilla, brown sugar, some cinnamon heat. That one's got proof on it for sure. I mean, they're all proofy. They're Elijah Craig barrel proof after all. And the lowest here we're talking about is 124. But that one's got punch on the palate. But the amount of oak and just the full force presence of it is really, really nice. What a great start. All right, let's move on to glass B. I'm gonna get some water though. All right, let's go to glass B now. It's good. All right, cheers. Wow. It's a big transition from glass A. It's a aggressive sipper a little bit. Kind of mellows out by the finish though, but this one had more peanut and cinnamon, like red hot cinnamon, and then some honey and a brown sugar, a light brown sugar that it kind of fades into this much more bright sweetness. Glass A was darker and richer, and the proof and power of it really came through. This is much more aggressive in its cinnamon peanut kind of core, but also very flavorful. All right, again, let me get some water and then we'll go to glass C. All right, let's go to glass C on the palate. Cheers. That's good. Man, a lot of chewy oak, almost like a grapey, rich fruitiness to it as well. Plum-like? Yeah, that's it. Kind of like a plum, chewy oak, a little bit of tobacco note. That one's got clear presence of age on it, and it's rich and rounded. These are all really good and kind of surprisingly different. And I mean, they share a similar DNA, but I'm really enjoying the variance of glass A here having the most full force, powerful experience, but really flavorful. Lots of black cherry and oak. Glass B having more peanut, cinnamon, brown sugar. And glass C has this like chewy oak, plum, and kind of aged spice. It's good. It's really, really good. They're all good. What I'm gonna do now is go back in reverse order, do some A/B testing, and really figure out my order. But to make this more efficient and watchable, I'm gonna fast forward through all that for you guys and then give you a recap. So let's dive into that. All right, everybody. That took a little while, but was a ton of fun. This is just a great year of releases with different flavor profiles to explore here. So I just kind of enjoyed going back through them. To give you a recap of how this has gone, Glass A continues to be the most full force experience. The amount of rich black cherry and oak and brown sugar on that, so good. Glass B continues to be the lightest, brightest, but really interesting roasted peanut, vanilla, more honey. It's almost more aggressive. I think it has less proof than Glass A, but it's more aggressive. But it kind of leans into that cinnamon brown sugar note really, really nicely. And then Glass C is chewy. It's oaky, it's rich, plum-like, and all three of them just kind of continue to develop and open up, and you could spend a good amount of time with each of these whiskeys. That being said, I did have to choose an ultimate order, which I did. It was tough though. They're all really good, and especially there were two that really fought for first place in my ranking here. But without further ado, let's just dive into what I ranked these as. So for me in third place, just a slight step below, but a good variation was Glass B. The roasted peanut, honey, brown sugar core to this, really good. But it is ultimately the more aggressive sipper and probably has slightly more youthful notes, not quite as aged as the other two, which I just enjoy, and I enjoy the complexity of the other two. But this is really, really good stuff. Let's see what it was. All right, that is making a lot of sense. That is the B batch. So, younger profile. I do think it let that peanut and honey and brown sugar note really come through, which is cool because the other two aren't like that. And to have more variation is nice. But ultimately, it's a step below the others in my mind. The other two, the A batch and the C batch, are remaining, and these really fought it out. They're both phenomenal. But for me, ultimately, we'll reveal second place here. That was Glass C. Chewy, oaky, plum-like, really, really good stuff, but just not quite as full force as Glass A. Glass C was. Honestly, I think this could be the C923 with the amount of age I was getting on it. Let's see. No, wow, that is the A batch. A123. Wow. Which makes the winner C923. But let's just go back to the A123 because, wow, that is way better than I remembered. That's really good whiskey. Holy good God, that's a good batch. It almost took down the C923. Like, that is so good. Chewy oak and plum. I didn't have in my mind that that was that good of a batch, but it is. It's really, really good. That is phenomenal whiskey. But ultimately the winner is C923. I can't even describe it. The proof is there. I think that's elevating all of the flavors just a tick more than the A batch. But the amount of black cherry I get on it and the amount of vanilla, brown sugar, and oak, it's just like the flavors are at 11 on a dial of 10, you know? It's ridiculously good. Legendary stuff there. But the story is, A123 is sneaky good, and I think this has to go in my Whiskey of the Year bracket now because it gave C923 quite a run for its money. Wow. That was a lot of fun. Hopefully I can do this year in and year out and continue to taste all the Elijah Craig batches because I love the profiles. They're just right up my alley, and this is just such good stuff. But again, let's give C923 the credit it deserves. You know the hype. It deserves it. It's one of the best whiskeys I've ever tasted. Let me know in the comments below what your order was or what you suspected the order would be. Did it come out the way you thought? I'm just interested to know. Until I see you guys again for another video, all I can say is keep drinking good whiskey. Try Elijah Craig Barrel Proof because it's awesome, and cheers.